Welcome to Wargroove! If you were here from our last video, we were in the middle of an epic PvP match in Quick Play. We were going over some general tips and tricks and where to use certain kinds of units. Now all the villages are almost captured. We're about to get into the mid-game, so let's get started!
I have 4. That's really enough. Now, I still have more units and more money than my opponent. And they chose to attack me rather than go for the money. And look at that, even took a little bit of damage, but that'll get regened right up. Like I said, they're doing that very, very scary Dark Mercia thing, where they're trying to build groove. They don't care about anything else except building groove. And Dark Mercia on these mountains here? Oh my goodness! That is a hell of a lot of groove that can be built. And also, Dark Mercia will deal more damage than Ragna while on these mountains. Will just be more damage, because it penetrates resistance. And additionally, it'll heal Dark Mercia. Am I at a disadvantage? That cannot be. I am not at any kind of disadvantage. So what do I do about it? That's the real question. I don't want to be at a disadvantage. Simply absurd. Well, I need to go on the aggression myself, because Ragna, as it so happens, is also ridiculously great at aggression. And I think I want to mirror them pretty exactly. I see a pike getting ready to roll. This road is about to become a battleground. So let's shut it down. Let's stop that wagon from going anywhere with a well-positioned Ragna blockade. Boom! Okay. Now what are we doing? We've got some alchemists, potentially capable of fighting Dark Mercia. But they cannot do it alone. They need help. They need a lot of help. They need the help of the Great and Mighty Trebuchet. So we will build the Great and Mighty Trebuchet, and it will crit anyone standing right there. How convenient. So we will make it so that in order to attack me, you will have to be standing where you really don't want to. Now I've got all kinds of units that can attack Dark Mercia if she tries. Now I skipped builds. You notice 2 of my barracks did not build anything. That is not great to do. You don't want to skip builds. That's bad. But I did it so that I could have this trebuchet because I am that afraid of Dark Mercia. If she comes in on this pike, I need to just completely destroy her, or I could lose the game. She could use that groove to just waste my line and recover over and over again. That's scary for me. I don't want that to happen. So let's end our turn here and take a look at the map. So notice they're starting to catch up to me in units, but they're still behind in income. However, that gap is about to be closed. These 2 units are very likely to just go ahead and capture these villages here, which will put us even on income. And if Dark Mercia builds on all 3 racks, we'll be even on units too. It's unfortunate that I had to skip a build, but it was worth it so that I could defend this position. And look, Dark Mercia backed off. She knew she couldn't win this, and has decided instead to come meet Ragna here. This was too powerful a position, too defensive a position. Now these units could be used to completely surround Ragna, but they chose not to. They gave me an escape path. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder why they did that. But look, a knight, an archer, powerful units, a pike, Dark Mercia, ranged units. And how many wagons is that? My wagon is trapped. It's probably going to die, and I can't save it. That's pretty scary. So I feel pretty pressured to advance at this point, to punish Ragna for leaving. There's not a ton I can do because I don't have wagons. You see how my lack of wagons is really causing me trouble right now. So what do I do about it? And because I didn't build here, I'm also in a little bit of trouble. I don't have defenses here. I'm not ready for this. My wagon can't even escape. What have I done? So I made a bit of an error because I underestimated the power of having 4 wagons. And I'm probably going to lose my wagon because of it. Now that being said, I can't be attacked from all sides, strictly speaking, if I move here. But then I can get wrecked next turn. I don't want to get wrecked any turn, so what we're going to do is do the smart thing and run for our lives. I am just going to get the hell out of there. This is quick play, and I don't have enough time to fuss and try to figure out what the best tactic is. No, we're just going to escape like smart people. Alright, now I need some kind of powerful unit here backing me up. A knight was a pretty good idea, but it can't really deal with all that. So I'm going to build the most powerful unit imaginable, a wagon. It's my own fault for delaying it. It's going to take me like 3 turns to reinforce this position, and I'm in trouble in the meantime. So I need to pressure this position so that I don't get in big trouble, you see. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's move the Treb here so I can start laying siege to that territory. And we're going to move all my little dudes up as far as possible. Alright, now, we want to conserve money, but we're going to Trebs and another wagon, because like I said, I didn't build wagons early, and now I'm paying for it. I'm suffering the consequences. Alright, you're super weak. I just want you to block that square so the wagons can't get through. Alright, I think we've covered our bases. So let's review some of the strategies we're using. Wagons are very powerful because they can block things and get your troops to the front line. Also, they can let you do what's called a front switch. Notice how Dark Mercia was losing here, so she moved all of her troops over here in one turn, and it's so hard for me to react. I can't react. I'm failing to react. And now my wagon is going to get destroyed by Dark Mercia, and she's going to get grooved way sooner than me. That's going to put me in a terrible position. I don't want that. But there's no way around it. There's no way to avoid it. There is nothing I can do about it. And that's the power of all these crazy wagons. The only thing I can do is punish all the wagons by pressing forward. But if I'm being honest, I can't press forward that hard because my Treb can't move through this forest. It has to go around. And I can't move my very slow pikes around quickly enough. Now notice I have this rookery and my opponent doesn't. Oh, well, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. You should have used Dark Mercia to kill that and get grooved. I don't know why they did that. Interesting. Great sword crit, by the way. A reminder, your sword gets a critical strike, but it's standing next to a commander. Alright, so I see lots of wagons and lots of pikes. It looks like Dark Mercia did not want to attack me here, even though I'm very weak. She much preferred to try to defend this position, maybe move on it a little bit. Notice how she's positioned just outside of the range of my units, where I can't really do much. Alright, so this Treb is definitely taking out that village. If I stay like this, I can deny them gold every turn, and you can't attack this position. I've got alchemists on mountains defended by a Treb. That is untouchable, which is pretty good. Alright, so remember what we talked about before with our wagon positioning. I'm going to build the pike here, 1, 2, 3, and then it can step 1 space into the wagon. So we want a nice, perfect positioning. Build here, 1, 2, 3, steps into the wagon. Next turn, we're good to go. Alright, we can start building harpies, which can be very scary on this map, and my opponent has no alchemists. Problem is, if you want to build harpies, you need money. And I don't want to skip builds anymore. That got me into trouble. So I'm going to make some nice, friendly pikes with wagons to move them around the map, because I lost my wagon, because I was being silly. I think some more alchemists would be good, but I could also use an archer. An archer to threaten off some stuff. However, I want money. I really want money so that I can start building those very important harpies for later. Alright, you're still protected, now we've got to deal with this bunch. You're fine, and I don't want that guy to hit you until we get another pike next to you. You're in crit range. Let's fix that while still being a little bit threatening. I really don't mind if Ragna gets attacked, because that'll be a nice distraction. We just don't want her surrounded. So let's stop. Surround, but make it so she can be attacked. That's going to cost me money, maybe not a great idea, but I'm cool with it for now. And let's see. Alright, I think we're good here. Now, what's important for Dark Mercia is when she has groove, you only really want to attack her for 2 reasons. 1, to make her use the groove, because you just need it gone. And 2, because you can get her from 100 health to 0 health and win the game. Trebpal will help me with that for sure. Alright, there's the front switch. So I got Dark Mercia to leave us alone over here, and the Knight's coming over. Interesting. My opponent keeps changing their mind. Oh, no! That was a trick. The Knight isn't changing its mind. It's set up for a crit on this position. Remember, a Knight crits if it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and attacks you. But it doesn't just move 6 spaces. You have to be 6 spaces away. If it runs in a circle 6 spaces, you don't get the crit. Something to remember. Alright, Dark Mercia has a lot of power here. Very mobile power. A Knight that can move quickly. An Archer that can hit from far away. A Commander and a Wagon to move the slower pikes. I don't have that. All my units are slow. A Trebuchet that can't cross this forest. Pikes with no wagon to support them. Fastest thing I have are Alchemists, but notice that they are completely zoned out by my opponent's units. So I can't really push into my opponent. My opponent can push into me. I need defenses over here ASAP. And look! A Treb! They are getting ready to move on me. That's some scary stuff. But that's okay, because what are they missing? Alchemists! They have absolutely no Alchemists whatsoever. So I can just go ahead and make that Harpy. Great. Alright.
Now let's review. Wagons are very useful in the early game. Not only do they get your troops to the front lines, but they're great blockades. Also, they enable something called front switching. Front switching is a strategy where you take a lot of your units and quickly transition from one part of the map to another to start a fight somewhere else where maybe your opponent doesn't have as many troops. Front switching is very powerful when you have a lot of transportation units like wagons or fast units like knights. Also remember that if your opponent doesn't build any anti-air, no mage, no alchemist, nothing like that, air units are very strong. They're practically invincible, so you want to save up for one when you can. Though it's a good idea not to miss a chance to build from a barracks whenever possible. Sometimes it's necessary to get that important, expensive unit if you need it right away. Let's find out in the next video if my positioning on the right is enough to counteract my opponent's incredible mobility. Stay tuned and welcome to Wargroove!